But Abe was also lucky enough to get out to San Diego Comic-Con, and we're going to talk to him about all the cool Walking Dead stuff that he saw there. But first, we're going to do a little sponsor business, aren't we, Russell?
We are. Our sponsor for this episode, as always, is Discount Comic Book Service. That's dcbservice.com. Check out the website. The new solicits that come out at the beginning of August, as you're listening to this, will be up shortly. So pretty much it's the same stuff that we had earlier in the month that is on sale, all at great prices. You can get most of your single issues between 30 and sometimes even 75% off. There's the Walking Dead weekly stuff this month. There's the brand new episode of issue of The Walking Dead. And for Game of Thrones fans, the Game of Thrones #1 is 75% off at 99 cents. So definitely check it out at dcbservice.com. And we thank them for their sponsorship.
And don't forget that WD8 code. If it's your first order, you can get an extra 8% off on top of the fantastic discounts. Okay, so you lucky son of a bitch, Aaron, you went to San Diego Comic-Con and tell us a little bit about it. I heard it was just absolutely bonkers, and like people were exhausted from trying to walk down, one aisle.
Oh yeah, San Diego Comic-Con was tons of fun this year. The best thing I can say about Comic-Con in general, and just like this past week where I saw all kinds of really cool things, is that everything that was scheduled, there's plenty of things that overlap. You just can't do everything. But regardless, anything that I missed, it's generally because I was doing something else that was also a lot of fun, and that's where I came away with Comic-Con. And yeah, so I did. There were plenty of highlights, but in terms of Walking Dead related highlights, I did get to meet Robert Kirkman.
And he did the very special smiling thumbs up in your photo, I'm sure.
Yes, he did. I mean, I did post a couple photos from the con over on the old Walking Dead TV podcast Facebook page, which everyone should go to and like. But yeah, I got to stand in line and meet Robert Kirkman. He was signing autographs, and the things I had him signed actually were the Walking Dead board game, which was a Comic-Con exclusive item before it's made available to the general public. They had it there, and it was.
Hey, Aaron.
Yes.
Is that the one based on the game or the TV show or the comic?
The Walking Dead board game is based on the comic, not the. It's not related to the TV show.
Right, they're actually making both versions of different company. I believe it's Z-Man Games that made the comic book version one, and there's another company making the TV version that's going to be out a little bit later. So just to be clear, you saw the comic book version. Go ahead.
Yes, I have the comic book version, which features new artwork by Charlie Adler. And yeah, so I got the board game, which was selling out very quickly. They assured us that there were like 25 copies each day, and you had to get there really early because everyone really wanted this board game. So I managed to secure myself a copy. The last one of that day, actually.
So like 40 bones?
Yeah, $40, and it's quite heavy and full of really cool stuff inside. I'm really looking forward to playing this game with my friends. But yeah, so I got the board game, and I got it signed by Robert Kirkman. Actually, I got to wait in line, got it signed by him. Also, while waiting in line to meet Kirkman, they handed out advanced copies of the Walking Dead novel that's coming out, The Rise of the Governor. The novella. Yeah,
the full thing.
The full thing. Yes.
Wow.
It's a pretty great piece of swag to get at Comic-Con. It's like a $25 book they just give you away for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I managed to get that, and met Robert Kirkman. He signed both these items, and I got a picture with him. And actually, funny story. While getting the picture of Robert Kirkman, my friend Ken was handling my iPhone, which I got the picture on, and he took the first picture, and it was blurry, and he showed it to us. He's like, "Oh, that's not no good." And so Ken was continuing to take the picture, and Kirkman was like, "You just have to tap the screen, and it'll focus automatically." And eventually he got it. But at one point, Kirkman and I looked at each other like, "This guy over here," like he didn't know how to use a phone. But yeah, good times.
Now this is Wednesday night as we're recording, and you probably just returned home. Have you had a chance to take a look at the game or read any of the book at all, or are you still kind of decompressing? And
well, despite being very busy writing all these articles about the different panels that happened in Comic-Con, I did get a chance to read the first chapter of the book, which I enjoy. I'm looking forward to finishing it off. It's like a good 300 pages, 18 chapters, and it has it's interesting to read The Walking Dead as a novella. So the board game I haven't had a chance to play, but I do intend to play very, very soon. Because
I'm looking at some screenshots of it right here. It looks pretty cool. Things like you pick a character from the book, including Glenn, Rick, all the major characters, and you're given locations on this big sprawling map of Atlanta that you have to scout.
Yes.
And your character's collecting items, and they can't go back over the same path because they're leaving like zombie tokens there and stuff. It's pretty darn cool looking.
Yeah, it looks like a not complex, but like certainly a very involved game. And there's 6 characters you can choose from: Rick, Lori, not Lori either.
Probably Andrea.
Andrea, that's what I'm trying to think. Rick, Andrea, Dale, Glenn, Shane, and Tyrese. So yeah, 6 people. Yeah, it's quite large and heavy.
And Aaron, you said for the Comic-Con exclusive version you paid $40. Was that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I'm not sure if that's
well, because I just want to say I'm looking up on dcbservice.com, and you can get it for $30 for the comic book version, or for the separate game completely, the TV version, $26. Plus add that code WD8, you can get an extra 8% off.
Sweet.
You don't get that special swag of the San Diego Comic-Con version, but you still get to play an awesome game.
Robert Kirkman will not sign it either. But
well, if you bring it to him, I'm sure he will, but it won't come signed.
There was no tax at Comic-Con. So
no shipping and handling. Another thing I wanted to ask, another photo that you posted on the Facebook page, and again, everybody wants to check out Aaron's photos, can go to our Walking Dead TV podcast Facebook. Did I say that right? I did. Podcast Facebook page to see them. There was like a replica of Merle with his hand cut off or handcuffed or something like. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yes, again, the Walking Dead booth that was on the showroom floor of Comic-Con, it was basically a large set that was designed to look like the rooftop where Merle was handcuffed. And yes, they had a replica of Merle, which was actually created by Nicotero and his team, which is pretty cool, and it looked pretty cool. And yeah, people would line up and they would literally handcuff you next to Merle, and you get your picture taken. And so yeah, I did take part in the fun there, and I had my hand cuffed right there, and you get a hacksaw, so you make a pose, and that's what I went for. I went for hacking off my own hand and striking a pose next to Merle. So
I read something on Twitter, and it could be wrong, obviously, but somebody was real snarky and said, well, at least they could have done was put the handcuff on the correct hand. Did they have it on the wrong hand?
Honestly, I couldn't tell. I didn't really pay too much attention. I gotta maybe look at that picture again.
From the picture I'm looking at, it looks almost like they took the scene and mirrored it, because almost everything looks reversed. The door is almost the other side. Yeah, but it is weird. It looks like they reversed everything in the shot.
Yeah. Another cool thing or interesting thing is that when everyone was taking their picture, as you leave that area, the booth attendants, they were all telling you to take that picture, post on Twitter and Facebook. Or Twitter in particular is supposed to hashtag Where's Merle, which makes me curious about what's going to happen in the second season. It seems like there might be obviously development's going to happen with Michael Rooker's character, since you're trying to get the whole Where's Merle anthem across there. So.
Very cool. Well, thanks for jumping on, Aaron, with us quickly here and letting us know about all the Walking Dead cool stuff at San Diego. And you're still a jerk for getting to go. But
says the guy who snuck into the panel last year.
Yeah, and I was
at a different con, but still.
I'll be getting into it this year again. But thanks definitely, and welcome again to the network. And we encourage everybody to check out the Out Now podcast with Aaron and Abe. You can get it right at hhwlod.com and get some great movie stuff. Aaron and Abe get to see all the new releases and tell you all about it, which is really cool.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, this is our Captain America episode this week. But the other half of that episode is actually entirely devoted to Comic-Con, where me and my fellow Weiss the Blue writer Brian White, we both discussed all the different things that we saw at Comic-Con. So if you want to hear more about Comic-Con, listen to our Out Now episode, which is generously now featured on the HHWLOD podcast network.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. We'll be talking to you soon.
Great, cool guys.
All right, take care. Okay. Very cool stuff. I wish I was at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This is the first year that I've really, after hearing about all this stuff going on, it's the first year that I've really wished I was there. I think as I'm getting older, I I realized that there's some things that I don't want to do anymore, and one of which is like be shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of people who will climb over you to get to something first, and half of them won't shower, and just I can't walk as much as I used to without my back hurting, and so I've been told the convention is basically the size of Rhode Island, and I just am not interested in that anymore. But for some reason, man, this year it was just like, man, I wish I was there.
Yeah, what's funny is I hear that the people that go every year don't like it anymore. That it's become too big and commercial and too much about entertainment and TV and stuff, and the comic is sort of getting pushed
People
out of
just
the
want to
background.
complain.
Yeah, or whatever, right? We got a lot of complaining to do on this show.
There's going to be some fights later on.
I went in '07, and it's funny because I paid $50, I think, for my full weekend pass with preview night, and now I think next year they're talking it's going to cost almost $150. So the reason it keeps going up is because they keep selling out almost immediately. I mean, it's crashing the servers for ticket sales, for hotel sales. It's just gotten to where it's crazy. It's way out of control compared to what it used to be. And I think some of it may be kicking back a little bit because I think Hollywood is getting a little soft on it. And with the box office being a little weak in the last year or so than it has been, we might see some of that dial back to some. But I think TV is really kicking in and kind of taking over for the pure Hollywood stuff that was going on there. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to go back at some point. I think at some point it's going to peak out and it's going to start to decline a little bit. And when it gets less crazy, I'd like to go. But Brad, I mean, I think it's one of those things I really do where everybody should experience it at least once in their life.
That's what everybody says, and
it's kind of what you make of it. I mean, you talk about crowds and fighting over people. I mean, I didn't find that to be my experience because I didn't partake in that part of it. I knew that they were going to have the crazy exclusives and stuff like that, so I didn't even try for any of that. I kind of stuck to most of the big exhibit halls to see a lot of the celebrity type stuff, and a lot of that is there's a lot of sitting and a lot of stuff like that. And I kind of saved the floor for off hours and stuff. So I think it's one of those things is what you make of it.
One of the creators of Yakutine Hunger Force program, his name is David Willis. He's obviously associated with Adult Swim because that show is. And one of his tweets, his last tweet that he sent out was still recovering from Gin and Tonicon 2011. Next year they should get rid of all the movie and TV show stuff.
So his stuff.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if he's saying, hey, I had too much fun. If I get rid of the TV stuff next year, I don't have to do this again, or if he's saying, this should be just comic stuff like it used to be. Maybe all he was saying is, hey, I did a little too much drinking. Gin and Tonicon. I just thought it was funny.
So we put this show together in a hurry because of all of the massive Walking Dead news that has piled up on us. Yeah, and I think first I'm just going to get some iTunes reviews recognized. We got a bunch since the last time we read them. So real fast, we got 5-star reviews from Summer, Shauna, and Liz, who I am suspecting are our Dixon Vixen friends, and they're really cool. Check them out, DixonsVixens.com. This is my favorite one I have to read. It's a 5-star review from TexWag, who says, I don't like the comic and I don't like the TV show, but I love this podcast. Their ability to break down the show and hear the differences between the show and the comic is unmatched. A wonderful podcast. So thanks.
Interesting.
Yeah,
We're glad you enjoy at least one aspect of that. That's awesome.
And we also got some 5-star reviews from Mike876, who says there's no such thing as a bad episode of the show, funny and informative, cast interviews as well. Many zombie-related podcasts to be had. This is the only one you need. So thanks to Mike. And one finally from Labyrinth3434, who just started listening to the show last week, and he says we are funny and knowledgeable, so obviously he hasn't listened to too many shows, and they do a great job keeping the comics separate. So thanks everyone for the iTunes reviews. We need them. Season 2 is ramping up, and there's going to be a lot of new people looking for Walking Dead podcasts, and the more reviews that we have, the easier it is to find us and to lure people.
Did you see the one from BDS Murph? Her name's Liz. Did you mention that?
I read one from Liz. I think it was a duplicate, but go ahead and read that one.
Well, she said she came across this podcast while looking for interviews with Norman Reedus, and after hearing the episode, decided to download everything that we had done. And she said she's really glad she did. She's even moved over to listening to my show half our way.
Yes, I saw a Twitter link with you guys mentioned, so that's awesome. So Liz is a super fan now.
Yeah, she's even on the Facebook group a lot.
Cool.
She's very high up in the Dixons Vixens. It might be like Vice Intimidator or something.
Like second lieutenant?
Yeah. So be nice. Okay. Let's do it. Let's get into it because I got some things that I need to say. But Jordan, you go ahead and what do you have first on the big happenings?
Well, let's start out with one, John, that you just sent me a few minutes ago. That's an email from New York Comic Con, which you mentioned a little bit earlier as you had to sneak into the panel last year. But one thing they're going to have there this year, 2011, they're going to have Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane's the creator of Spawn and a lot of other stuff. He also works a lot with really, really detailed toys, including the Walking Dead comic and TV toys, which are coming out soon. He's going to be at Comic Con New York. It looks like they're going to make some of the Walking Dead TV series action figures available to buy there. This will be the first place they're going to be able to buy them anywhere. So if you really, really have to have them now, looks like New York Comic Con might be the place to be. And that's going to be October 13th through the 16th at the Javits Center in New York.
Russ.
I expect one of you that goes to that to pick me up a Buster.
Russ, we're going to get a case of the Daryl Dixons, and I have an idea where we can move them.
So the next bit of news is Emmy nominations are out, and The Walking Dead has been nominated for 3 Emmys. For the pilot episode, they've been nominated for Outstanding Special Visual Effects for a series, Outstanding Sound Editing for a series, and Outstanding Prosthetic Makeup for a series. Miniseries, movie, or a special, long category name. But so three nominations all for the pilot episode. What do you guys think about that one?
I think those are well deserved.
Yeah, I was going to say the very same thing. Well deserved.
There was a late push by marketing and publicity and stuff to get Michael Rooker and Norman Reedus Emmys, but it was a nice little fan push. But I don't know that they had enough screen time yet to warrant something like that. But
yeah, maybe season 2.
Yeah, maybe season 2 for sure.
So after those first two bits of news, let's get to our first fight, shall we, gentlemen? And that is the DVD Blu-ray news. Now we discussed a little bit about this one, the DVD and Blu-rays first came out that there's not a ton of special features on there. They're cheap. They're not like dragging you over the coals for money. They're cheap, but there's not a whole lot of special features on the 2-disc edition. Well, at Comic-Con this year, they announced that they're going to be releasing a new edition of the DVDs and Blu-rays that will be 3 discs and will include, as it says on the poster, features hours of never-before-seen content. So for those of you who are adamantly against double dipping, you're not going to be particularly happy about this. But if you want more special features, looks like you're going to have to spend a few more bucks and buy the 3-disc edition of Walking Dead. Fight, go, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, that pisses me off big time.
Obviously, I mean, I don't think anybody likes it, but at first I was like, you know what, AMC is so stupid in the way. I have a rant that'll come later on that kind of goes that way. But you know what, they got us all to buy the stupid thing twice because we're gonna. So I mean, I hate it, but is anybody here gonna not get the new one? I mean,
I'm definitely gonna get it, and I've decided instead of being really, really angry about it, I'm gonna try to make somebody happy about it. So I'm gonna give away my first copy of the first release Blu-ray as a prize on the show. And I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it yet, but
I will do that with mine as well.
oh yeah, okay. When is that new version being released?
It says it's going to come out in October, probably around the time of the season premiere, which we'll discuss next. But
Yeah, my
it
guess
doesn't
is
give a specific day.
my guess is one of the first 2 Tuesdays in October, which would give a week or 2 weeks before the season 2
Probably, yeah.
premiere.
Well, John, that gives us at least 2 full months to come up with a neat contest or something.
Cool. Maybe we'll even just like send out a Facebook message during recording and see if anybody calls.
Yeah, yeah. And my thing is, I'm not huge on double dipping, but hey, they're not forcing you to buy this. If you just wanted the episodes, you got them on the cheap for just buying that 2-disc edition. If you really, really have to have the special features, well, you probably didn't buy the first version anyway because it didn't have very many. But,
You know, when I buy Blu-rays in general, I either get them the first week because they're usually on sale at the Best Buy, or I wait a few months, until the demand has died down, and then Best Buy puts them back on sale. So it's not like I paid an arm and a leg for the first one.
right, I think I paid 20, you guys paid like 25 for the Blu-rays.
And we were happy that it came out so fast. And obviously, it was rushed to take advantage of the huge hype that the show was getting at that point for being the highest, rated cable show, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this would normally be the right time for a DVD season to come out, like a few weeks before the second season. So they clearly just slapped the episodes on a disc, and, we should have known. But
But in our excitement, plus we were needing to do something in the off season, so
Right.
It was handy.
yeah, screw the 3 disc. You can all listen to our commentary tracks instead.
Right. I am kind of excited about the option to watch them in black and white. I think that would be kind of interesting. I am
Yeah, I
not.
wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the things they include.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was confirmed. Is it not confirmed?
I don't have a list of confirmed special features. If any of you guys have seen them, I'd love to have it, but I only have the announcement here.
Okay, well, I thought I had read something. Maybe I misread the article. But if in fact that is one of the special features, I think I would actually give it a try. I am not a fan of black and white shows, TVs, movies, whatever. Except for Dick Van Dyke. And the only black and white movie that I'll ever watch is Steve Martin's Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, which is funny because it takes 50% of its footage from actual real black and white movies. But watching this in black and white would be cool. And it's the only black and white comic that I read too. I see in color. I don't see in black and white every day, so color seems natural to me. But having said that, the option to watch in black and white does sound very appealing.
Next up, I think that happened chronologically since last episode. I'm trying to order everything as it came out, but the next thing was during the Breaking Bad season premiere, they had I think it was 49-second sneak peek of season 2 of The Walking Dead. And we're going to talk about this trailer. We're going to talk about when it came out at Comic-Con. I think we're going to discuss what happened in them. So if you are completely spoiler adverse, you might want to skip forward a few minutes. But yeah, they released this 1 minute or so clip of Rick taking on some zombies with a rock, a big rock. And I enjoyed it. What did you guys think? I mean, there wasn't a whole lot in that clip to go on.
It was exciting to see something new.
Yeah. I think they went for they're trying to show the people that haven't latched on yet what you could be in store for. It was kind of a brutal minute.
And beyond that, I mean, I want to know what the hell the context of that scene was, because it seemed like he was already worked up. He's dripping more than just sweat. It looked like somebody poured a bucket of water over him. And what is the context of him having to take on 2 zombies by himself with just a boulder?
Yeah, I wondered if it was actually something that we're going to see in season 2, or if it was like the kind of stuff that you see in movie trailers that don't end up in the movie.
Could be. I didn't think about that, but it very well could be.
Yeah, it's possible they shot it just for the trailer, but it's a cool scene. I mean, I'd like to see it in the show. I'd like to see whatever is going on there.
Right. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say it's him training maybe to take out the zombies without using bullets, but that's just a guess.
Maybe you said he was dripping wet.
He was
maybe
soaking wet. It was weird.
maybe he had just been dunked in the dunking tank and he was very angry about it because he thought he could get through it without being dunked. But actually, somebody did actually dunk him, and he said, "I got to cool off." No, of course not. That's not what happened.
I don't know. Occam's razor says that might be the most plausible answer.
I'm just going to move on and pretend you guys aren't talking. I have not watched the other one because
The
I
21?
fear. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers. I read like just for the Facebook group.
John.
I'm always searching Walking Dead news like to put up there, and I get spoiled too much, and so I'm trying to stay away from the trailer. Go, Brad.
John, if it's going to spoil anything, it's going to spoil something in the first episode.
I would
But-
like the first 10 minutes of the first episode.
Yeah, exactly. And it is worth watching because I'm just going to
You
tell
can
you.
tell me what's in it. I don't, it's okay.
We see them driving away from the explosion. We see them caught on a highway full of
Zombies.
broken down cars.
It looks like a scene out of Zombieland.
Yeah, and then they're driving real slow, trying to get through these cars without waking any zombies up, I guess. And then the van overheats, so they have to stop and get out. And you can guess what happens then. It's just, I'm sure like Jordan said, I'm sure all that happens in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the first episode. It is well worth watching.
It's a really well put together trailer. It's pulse pounding. The music's great. I mean, you really get a sense for they're heading into this full steam ahead. It's a really, really cool trailer. There's also a poster they premiered at San Diego Comic-Con that is, speaking of the RV, like where Brad, it's all the principal cast members standing on top of the RV in what looks like that same road, if I had to guess, just surrounded by zombies. And this is obviously a stage photo, not a screenshot from the episode, but it's still thematically very similar.
And John, I forgot, at the very end, we see some characters that are from the comic that we've been, anticipating seeing. So it's kind
Some
of,
characters we might have mentioned in the last news episode.
Gotcha.
you got to watch it, man. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it's not going to spoil anything other than, like Brad said, the first maybe 10, 15 minutes of season 2, episode 1.
Okay, I'll watch it. Are we up to the bad one yet?
Well, one more bit of news, and that bit of news before, as John puts it, the bad one, the big fight, is they've released the official release date of Season 2 at San Diego Comic-Con. Season 2 of The Walking Dead will premiere on AMC on October 16th, not at 10 p.m. This year it's going to be airing at 9 p.m. So October 16th, which is a Sunday, I believe, 9 p.m. that season. I absolutely cannot wait. It's even sooner than we expected.
We already knew that, didn't we, John?
Well, yes, we did. We broke that last show before the San Diego Comic-Con panel that we ran, so we're awesome. But thanks, Jordan, for
Yeah,
reminding everyone.
I pointed this out on Legion of Dudes, but it's the first episode I missed, and it's only because I happened to go to bed 15 minutes before you guys put out the emergency bat signal of we need to put up a new episode with this.
You went to bed at 6 in the morning?
I went to bed around 7 in the morning, yeah. I've been working on a lot of papers for class. I was talking with you guys earlier. But yeah, lots of papers to write, so I don't get much sleep right now.
Wow.
Crazy.
So yeah, you screwed over my perfect attendance.
Sorry.
So the 16th is cool, though, because it's like one less show of nothing that we have to do.
Hey, none of our shows are about nothing.
That's true.
Even people who don't like the show want to comment like our episodes. The big news, the fight, is going to be over what just broke as we record this yesterday, and that is, well, there's two bits of news. One from yesterday, one today. Frank Darabont, the showrunner of The Walking Dead, he directed the first episode of the series from season 1. He wrote pretty much everything beyond that, even the episodes that were written by other people. He rewrote them to an extent. He has stepped down as The Walking Dead showrunner. We do not know that he's leaving the show completely, because he was at Comic-Con just a few days ago, so we don't know exactly what's going on, except that he has stepped down as showrunner.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Now, in the past, Darabont has spoken many times about how he's not used to the television schedule. He's a filmmaker, but he's just that. He's worked in movies for years, or maybe one episode of a TV show here or there. He's not used to having to deal with the day in, day out of producing and just controlling everything about a television series. He's had complaints about the time constraints, about the how much it costs to make an episode, and whether he can work with that. And this is not exactly surprising to me, at least, looking at a lot of things he said in the past, but it's still a little bit surprising that what happened in the middle of a season. So we do know who's going to be replacing him. That news came out today. That's going to be Glenn Mazzara. Now, Glenn Mazzara wrote episode 5 of season 1, which is the next one we're going to be doing a commentary about, so we can really focus in on the writing of that episode. And he was promoted to second in command of the writing team, head of the writers team, but second in command behind Darabont for season 2 earlier this year. Now he's going to be the showrunner. He's written for The Shield before, which is unfortunately one of the shows I haven't seen. It's on my giant pile of shows and movies that are great that I need to check out but haven't yet.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, everybody who's seen The Shield, just like Brad says, it's great, and some of the episodes he's written are particular gems, according to what I've read. He's worked in television for many years, so hopefully, I enjoyed episode 5, Wildfire. The next one we're going to do that was written by him. It has that great scene between Amy and Andrea, where Andrea and Zombie Amy. He's going to be taking over. We don't know for sure how much Darabont is stepping down. This could be good, this could be bad, this could be completely neutral for the outcome of season 2, but I know you guys have a lot of strong feelings about it, so I'll shut up now and let you guys take over. What are your thoughts on this huge development?
Well, like Han Solo said a minute ago, my stomach dropped when I read that first bit. I was like, oh, great. Why can't I have anything nice? Because he sounded so excited about the show. He sounded like he was in for the long haul. I don't know if we'll ever know why he left, but then, hearing the new news that Glenn Mazzara was stepping in, it makes me feel better. And honestly, I'm not worried anymore because I think he was in the same boat that Darabont was in as far as his enthusiasm for the show.
All right. Here's the thing. We love this material and we love this show, obviously, and we do a podcast on it. Sometimes we have like rose-colored glasses, and we just love the material so much, and it's a comic book, and it's going mainstream, and great. Since this show has ended for season 1, it has been a gigantic clusterfuck. They have the #1 rated cable television show. Is it of all time? Maybe I'm getting crazy. Or was it just like recently?
I think it was of that year, biggest premiere of that year, and biggest show on AMC for sure.
Right. And it immediately starts with they're cutting the budget. I don't know where I don't know what is going through their minds that you would take your Golden Goose-like project and not put all of your resources into it. That's where it started. And in my opinion, a guy like Frank Darabont doesn't leave because he can't handle something. He leaves for some other reason specifically, which in my opinion would be budget cuts as being an issue to, it's compromising the work that he's doing. I'm just guessing, but that's my thought.
Let me throw this at you. Let's say he leaves. Does that free up some of the budget that they had to cut?
I bet you it would.
It's very possible.
The question is, would they actually throw that money back into the budget? That's
right.
the question.
And again, we got a rushed DVD set, which we were all happy to have, and now they're going to double dip us. I guess that's a plus for them because, like we said, we're all going to buy it again. And now so Frank Darabont's leaving. It's amazing how they haven't been able to pull this together with the momentum that they had coming out of that season. I'm still confident that the material is so great that we're still going to get a good show out of it, but it seems so like uncalled for is the wrong term, but it's unbelievable to me that they couldn't make this better. That it's really only been like bad news since the end of season 1.
Yeah, my concern with it is I was one of the ones when we went from like episode 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and so on, that I could tell that episode 1 was directed by Frank Darabont, and the tone and the look and the way that the rest of the episodes were done, you could definitely tell it was missing the direct hand of Frank Darabont in the director's chair. My concern now is he's pulled him, and he obviously pulled himself back, but he's still very much involved in the show. My concern now is for season 2, if he's pulling himself back even more. And like I said, at this point, we're not entirely sure. Does that mean he's done with it? Does that mean he's going to still maintain some sort of producer or creative input into it? Who knows? But my concern is just that the more he pulls back, the more of an impact that has on the show. And I don't think that it's necessarily a positive. I mean, I got over the fact that Darabont didn't direct all the episodes last season, and I think that over time, especially after we watched it again for commentary and stuff, it grew on me, and I noticed it a little less. But I think I'm more in your camp, John, where it just seems odd that he would leave now. Like, I could see if he made this announcement right after the end of season 1 and just said, you know what, I've got the pacing and the schedule and the budget and everything for TV is a little bit more than what I thought I would be able to dedicate myself to. There are a lot of projects on my plate. There's a lot of things that I want to get to. There's a lot of collaborations that I've been working on, and I think it's in good hands. I'm still going to be involved to this degree. This just seemed very abrupt and very almost like something happened in the very, very recent past. I mean, you don't go to Comic-Con and talk everything up if you plan on leaving the next day. And maybe we're seeing a conspiracy where a conspiracy doesn't exist, but it just seems like the timing is very suspect in my opinion. And you got to remember, this is a project that he spent 5 years trying to get off the ground. So again, it just seems a little odd that you would put that much time, effort, and energy into something and for amicable reasons decide it's time to go. Yeah, and I mean, in between budget cuts and him leaving is a bunch of fired writers as well. So yeah, that was kind of the first shot across the bow at the tail end of last season. So
yeah, I mean, something's not right. Something didn't go well for him. There's no way that Frank Darabont couldn't get help if he needed, if he had scheduling problems and constraints. I just can't believe that he would walk away, like you said, Russ, just because of those reasons. I don't know. I think AMC is something's up. They dropped the ball. Something.
The only thing that'll change my mind is if in 2 to 3 months we hear that he's picked up The Dark Tower or some other very ambitious Stephen King project. Because one of the things that's happened in the very recent past is that Universal has bowed out of the Dark Tower thing, and I guess Ron Howard is still attached, but that project seems to be in a bit of limbo. And maybe the powers that be somewhere said, look what Frank Darabont did in bringing The Walking Dead to AMC and to TV. Maybe we can get him to work his magic on The Dark Tower, especially because of his association with Stephen King in adapting other material.
Maybe he's turning into, maybe Darabont, picking up on what Russ said, maybe he's kind of turning into the next J.J. Abrams of TV. J.J. Abrams started, among other things, he started Lost, but he didn't stick with it. He left it in very capable hands. Same thing with Fringe. He started Fringe. He left it in very capable hands as he moved on to do other projects. So maybe Darabont is kind of doing that thing. We can only hope it's something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not throwing my hands up saying this is going to suck now. I just don't buy the reasons for Frank leaving. Now, we still have Kirkman involved, which is huge. And is Galen Hurd still producing?
If he ever washes his hands of the show, it's done.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't count anymore. It's not
going to be the show that we have and the show that we want.
And is Galen Hurd still
Oh, yeah, she's still
producing.
there, as far as we know.
Yeah.
So, you know, the team is somewhat still intact. I mean, but
And here's another thing. We don't have an official word from AMC yet. We do know from sources close to the production that, yes, he has stepped down as showrunner. We don't know that he stepped down as he might still direct episodes. We don't know that he stepped down as executive producer. We don't know that he stepped down from anything other than the position of showrunner. It's still quite possible he's still attached to the show. Like I said, there's been no official word from his camp or AMC yet as to where all the pieces have fallen, if you will. You guys talked a bit about the look of the pilot, of course, deviated from the look of everything else. The pilot just plain looked better. It was better written, it was better directed, it was better pretty much everything. And a lot of that was that they had extra time to play with, they had extra money because of the pilot, etc. But those 5 episodes that followed were produced with Darabont as the showrunner. And they had a marked drop in quality. Not, I mean, we're not saying the show's terrible, but it wasn't as good in many ways. If it's going to drop in quality simply because he's showrunning, maybe, and don't take this as sacrilege, but maybe there is a TV showrunner, a person with more experience, who will have better success running the show than Darabont will when his skills lie in more writing and directing. Maybe it was just not the job for him, and maybe the show will actually benefit. We don't know. I mean, granted, all the footage we saw from Comic-Con was produced under the old system with him showrunning and everything, but it looked great. I mean, I know you haven't seen it, John, but as Brad said, and Russ, you've seen it as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I did. And it
looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. I'm not sure how far along the process they are with season 2. I would imagine they've at least got to be probably at this point 3 or 4 episodes in to filming, if not more than that. So it could be that we don't really notice it that much for season 2, and I'm hoping that season 2 will give everybody else a chance to really get in the groove of things. Hopefully if season 3 comes around, we don't see some sort of steep drop off. But so yeah, who knows?
yeah, hopefully it ends up being a giant overreaction by me, which is cool. I'm good with that. Won't be the last time.
I don't know if this was something you were going to bring up or not, but I recently read an article where Kirkman was talking about the lifespan of the show as compared to the lifespan of the comic. He said if he could, he would love to write the book for another 15 years. But he said, obviously, that's not as realistic for television. And because of that, they have to have some kind of end game. He wants to have some kind of end game in mind for the show. So that's going to be very interesting. I have a feeling that if something happens to the show, it falls apart. The network says, you know what, we thought we had some. It's not what we thought. We're going to cancel it after season 3 or whatever. Kirkman is going to be involved enough that the show will have a quote unquote end. There will be an end to the story. And I just think that's going to be interesting to see that compared to the book. But mainly, I just was comforted by his comment that he's even thinking about the fact that they have to treat it differently than the book as far as ending the actual story.
Yeah, it's interesting. It gives it more of that nobody's safe feel.
Since you kind of brought it up, Brad, my speculation or my wish list for the end of the show is that on the last episode, we cut forward to like 20, 30 years down the road, and Carl is like a man in his 40s or 50s, and we kind of see how it's played out. So we don't get like an ending like, oh, we've cured the plague, or we've killed all the zombies, or some kind of final ending, but just see that maybe they're getting a foothold, maybe things are getting better, but we see time has passed kind of thing.
Like the bad I Am Legend ending.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Well, didn't they? There was 2 endings to that movie. I thought the one that didn't make the theatrical cut was a good ending, and the bad ending was that didn't they solve everything?
Well, they got to a military compound at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
There was a safe zone somewhere.
I would love to spoil what I think, but I can't. But there's something that happened in the comic in the last trade that would be really, really cool if they did for kind of like a future episode. But anyway, in general, that's my opinion.
When we're finished talking, you got to tell us what you're thinking.
Okay.
And that's after we make John watch the 4.5 minute trailer.
No, we'll watch it together.
So that's a ton of news we discussed tonight. If you have a comment on any of that, send us an email, send us a voicemail. We'd love to hear what you think about all this breaking news and the trailers and the posters and the board games. Did you go to Comic-Con? Did you see the panel that we had as the last episode? Let us know.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess this will be our very, very early August episode. So what that means is we'll probably be on a little bit more of a hiatus. You might get like 3 weeks or so before the next episode, which will be the commentary track for episode 5, which Jordan knows. Wildfire, yes. And Brad's not going to sing it.
Not today.
And
Can't guarantee next episode.
And that'll get us through August, amazingly enough. And then in September, we will have our finale commentary. And then it's going to be like full bore, I'm sure, news and stuff popping up. New York Comic Con, the second week. New York Comic Con is actually happening the weekend that the show premieres. Is that right, Russell?
Yes, yeah, it is.
So there's going to be some crazy premiere party at New York Comic Con for The Walking Dead. That just clicked in my head.
Might that factor into Operation FUN?
We cannot talk about Operation FUN, but if we were able to, it probably would.
Which one of you guys are all 3 of you going to New York?
Jordan is going. Final word. Final word.
I'm in New York right now. So
Yeah, I'm already here. The party's already started.
Yes,
Then
I'm
Russell,
going.
you're gonna have to pick me up one of those Buster action figures and bring it back.
I will do so. I have my plane ticket purchased, so I am in whether I'm ready or not.
The interesting thing is that there's another convention the same weekend, and it's like Rock and Shock or something, and it's like a horror metal. Yeah, and you wouldn't think that it would interfere with New York Comic Con, but they have booked several of the Walking Dead talent at that show that weekend. So I'm hoping we don't totally get screwed. There has to be a Walking Dead panel at New York Comic Con. I can't imagine there not being.
I'm sure they can split it between the two.
Yeah, there's some pretty, like I know John Bernthal's going to the other one, and Norman Reedus is going to the other one. Maybe we'll get Rooker and Andrew Lincoln and those people.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have some sort of premiere at the con. Somewhere, some way, there's got to be. And the cool thing is we all do have press access, so if there is a screening, then we should be good.
Russ, just hold your Android up like you're just making a phone call.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll pass.
A really long phone call.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, are we done with episode 30?
I think so. That's the end of episode 30. Like I said before, leave us a voicemail if you have any comments about all the various news we talked about this episode. You can call us at 516-468-7912 or send us an email, comments at walkingdeadtv.com. Don't forget to check out Half Hour Wasted. That's Brad's show on Mondays and Legion of Dudes on Thursdays. That's John, mine, Russ, and Jim's show. Jim couldn't make it tonight, but he'll be back soon. You can find them both at hhwled.com and, of course, Out Now with Aaron and Abe, which has just been recently added to the master feed. If you only listen to the show, you should know there's a master feed at hhwled.com that has the show, Half Hour Wasted, Legion of Dudes, Media Minutes, Out Now with Aaron and Abe, and tons of stuff like that. So if you like what you hear here, there's a ton more where that came from.
Here.
No, I think Jordan could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves.
I love ketchup, but that sounds terrible.
And listen,
But I
That's a
appreciate,
compliment, brother.
I appreciate the compliment. That's an awful image.
if you want to win DVDs of The Walking Dead Season 1, I would keep an eye out or follow the Facebook, follow the Twitter, WDTV Podcast, like the Facebook group for The Walking Dead TV Podcast, and you never know what might pop up in the next couple of days and weeks if you'd like to win something cool.
We have at least 2 copies of our Russ. Breaking the fourth wall here. I think you stepped away for just a moment when John and I were talking about giving away our first release Blu-ray.